I mean, this is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. These are big 3D Zelda games. These are very, very famous and popular games. These are games that will live in the Nintendo canon forever, for eternity. So it was weird to give us such enhanced, definitive versions of these games and kind of just abandon them on the Wii U.
そのタイトル自身が持っていたその良さみたいなものを壊してしまいかねないっていうところがあって、なので、それが今のテクノロジーでまた全然違うものを可能にするっていうことが見えた時に初めてやろうっていうことになるんですが、今はまだ新しいタイトルでそういうものを実現するっていう方向での考えを優先して作ってますので、またそういう何かがこうインスピレーション湧いてくるような時があれば、そういうことは実現してみたいなとは思ってます。
And obviously there is the problem that it's the Wii U, so you know they had the dual screen functionality, but really at the end of the day, it's not that important.
Hey, why ain't you running?
Well, I can't read.
Get out of here.
Like just find a way.
There's actually already a great effort to fully understand the core 5 Legend of Zelda games, but the unfortunate thing, and the reason I've decided to make this video, is all the evidence surrounding all of that has just been dismissed by a lot of different people for different reasons. There's still a crowd that exists and will likely continue to exist that doesn't consider video games to be a valid medium of art. Then there's people who like Ocarina of Time, but refuse to accept all the new games, Skyward Sword most of all. But actually a great number of people aren't blinded by any kind of bias, they just think that the evidence is fun trivia or a fan theory. This video isn't going to be anything like that. This isn't a theory, this isn't apologetic in any way, and it's not my opinion thinly disguised as a review. This video is a study into the most important man responsible for Zelda. It's impossible to talk about Twilight Princess without at least mentioning Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. It's so bizarre to me. Even now, so many people regard the Ico-Zelda connections as just a piece of trivia, or a stupid fan theory that only a few people know about.
For anyone who's getting Legend of Zelda vibes, it's a pretty damn different game, aside from just a couple of visual similarities.
But for the people who actually pay attention, you'll immediately understand that this is required viewing. You're not allowed to play Twilight Princess without having played Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Aonuma is intentionally pulling from Ueda at multiple important parts in this game, in Skyward Sword, and even in the Wind Waker, and if you just pretend like these connections aren't there, nothing you have to say holds any value whatsoever. Ico itself was in large part a love letter to Ocarina of Time, so a lot of these quotes are reciprocation of that, bouncing ideas off of one another and making little notes in the margins. The big thing that I always point to is this one, the spiral staircase inside the tower. Aonuma is making you think about Yorda from Ico, and he wants you to compare Yorda in that game to Zelda's role in this game. A pale, fragile girl hiding in the shadows. This is exactly why Ganon's first phase is fighting Zelda as a puppet. And if this is Zelda's role in Twilight Princess, it also has a lot of commentary on Zelda's role in the series on a large scale. This is what I mean when I say you shouldn't be allowed to discuss TP isolated from these other games that it's referencing. These ideas don't come from nowhere, and they're not meant to seem as if they do. Nintendo fans don't know any of this because all of their gaming experience exists in a bubble. If you grew up with Nintendo, there's a good chance you never leave Nintendo, and more crucially, you never actually grow up. This is one of the key things that holds video games back from being appreciated as narrative art, because all the art intellectuals think that video games have cooties, and all the gamers do in fact have cooties. We're not exactly our own best spokesman. If we never bridge this gap, mechanical satisfaction and objectivism will probably continue to ruin all video game discussion for the next 100 years to come. I'm not really a fan of that idea, so I'm going to continue to explain why Shadow of the Colossus is crucial to Skyward Sword. Obviously, you know from playing Shadow of the Colossus that Dorman wanted you to kill the Colossi to revive himself, and this is basically the classic monkey paw genie thing. You get your wish, but at a great cost. The point of quoting it here works on a lot of different levels, so I'm going to go over each individually. First and foremost, you fight the imprisoned alongside Groose, who is a red-haired, golden-eyed bully turned hero. If you haven't figured it out, he's the first male Gerudo. Groose is so much of a beta that he begins a race of people who can only produce a male every 100 years. But despite being the first Ganondorf, he helps you suppress a demon from corrupting a temple by pushing it into a big hole in the ground. It's true that Ganondorf is the main antagonist of these games, but you're meant to feel pity for him. He went through everything you did, and between you and Zelda, there's more lies and deceit than Ganon ever made. The only reason that he's the villain is because he drew the short straw. Anuma's specifically discussing how history is lost over the ages, and how the history books are written by those who win the war. Link and Ganon aren't so different people, and Wander here, when he kills the Colossi, he's also killing parts of himself, slowly being corrupted.